Okay, hello and welcome again to a new episode of the KewCast. I'm John, joined again by my good pal, Eddie.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Eddie. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot.
Living the dream.
I guess. Call it that.
Right. The government's still shut down. Eddie's still playing pickleball 24/7.
I don't know. What are we on? Day 35 now or something?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Insane.
Pretty crazy. But we've got a little show to keep you occupied for a bit here,
Sounds
Eddie.
good.
Lots of good stuff today. We're going to cover some latest news and gear gossip, and we're going to jump into paddles of the week. Today we're looking at the Enhanced Duo and the new Apes Charms.
Exciting.
These Halloween-y colors back here. We've also got some, we're going to take a look and see if either one of us have any updates to our paddle leaderboard. We've got some gear of the weeks, lots of bags coming in lately. Lots of bags and shoes. My goodness. Every pickleball brand is making good bags and good shoes these days. So we're kind of, we are living the dream.
All right. You got you do have them here.
Yep.
Good.
I've got a tip of the week this episode. Did I put it in your notes?
No.
Okay. Proactive Fourth.
Surprise me.
Yes. 2 fun facts. Did we have one or two this week?
I've got a couple.
Awesome. All right. Good stuff. And then Q&A. Let's dive in.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So news this week, update to the Black Friday deals webpage on my website. I'll link to it below, but we mentioned a bunch last week. It's Black November, December, basically. Some companies are restricting their sales to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but for the most part, we've got good sales going on for 2 months solid. Selkirk is selling things for up to 60% off of paddles, gear, and apparel. Probably nothing off the Boomstik, but that's already started November 3rd, going all the way to the end of December. 20% off of all Babolat. Oh, this is exciting this year. Last year, we didn't have a Babolat Black Friday that we could use with our codes. They had some Black Friday sales, but we couldn't use our codes for this. This year, you can use code Johnkew for 20% off every Babolat product. That is going from November 27th up to December 1st.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Still my favorite
tennis rackets, tennis rackets, shoes, pickleball paddles, padel paddles.
Okay. They do make
Padel
a
rackets.
good tennis racket.
Yes. That's pretty amazing. So thank you, Babolat, for stepping up here and offering discounts to our viewers. ADV, the bag company, they are giving gifts starting with sort of in tiers of prices that you spend. So if you spend $75, you get a certain gift. The next tiers are $150 and $250. They're also offering special deals for VIPs, so people that have been around as customers for a while. This will start the week of Black Friday. Apes, Pickleball Apes. You can use a new code, Johnkew 2025, for 25% off of Harmony, Pulse, and the Energy series. That's all their older paddles up to these new Charm series, plus an additional 5% off during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So that's 30% off of.
So wait, up to and including the Charm, or up to
not the Charm,
including.
Not including the Charm. I think Ivan might update me on some Charm sales for Black Friday, but so far it's just Harmony, Pulse, Energy. Holbrook starts November 17th. They're doing a pro bundle, which includes basically 50% off the Arma and other things, and then using the code Q Bundle, November 18th to December 2nd gets you 50% off of Arma paddles. Q Bundle gives you the bundle. Q50, I'll put this in the show notes, gives you 50% off November 18th to December 2nd off that Arma paddle, which is a pretty sweet paddle. Engage, November 3rd through December 31st, so basically now to the end of the year. The Pursuit Pro 1 line will be $180, so that's just over 30% off. New paddles, including the Alpha Pro, the Alpha, and Pro Foam will be 15% off during November 25th through December 9th. And you can stack with code Johnkew to get an additional 10% off all those. So there's a ton of information now on this webpage that I'll be continually updating. It goes on for forever, right? I just alphabetized all the companies and what they're offering for Black Friday.
So you think more people are likely to use the codes for themselves or to get something for somebody else?
I'll be using my codes for other people for sure.
Oh, okay.
It's a pickleball Christmas in John's household.
Everybody wins.
Right. I love it. All right, Eddie, I'm heading to Worlds tomorrow. I'll be there for mostly a full week. I'm coming back on the following Monday.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get I've got so much content to pump out, so I'm trying to record a few reviews before I leave. I got an episode of The Breakthrough with Scott Fliegelman recorded yesterday.
You're going to do all that today?
Yes. Everything
and play 2 more times?
I've got to play twice more. I'll be up all night.
Oh, God.
Yes, so I'm excited to go to Worlds. This my favorite tournament of the year. Have you been? You haven't been, have you?
No.
Okay, yeah. It's at the Brookhaven Country Club in Dallas. And big venue. They got the Central Boulevard with, live bands and, comedians and all kinds of stuff going on there. Tons of venues for food and that sort of thing, food trucks. Just a massive
content there?
I'm going to try to chill out a little bit. I'm
Okay.
going to be recording our games when I'm playing for a follow up on the breakthrough. Partnering with JJ again, JJ Pickleball. He and I did this same bracket last year. We got bronze last year, and we're playing in men's 4-0. And JJ's like 20 something years old, so our bracket is the 8-year-old to 34-year-old bracket.
Clean up on those 8-year-olds, John.
They'll clean up
you can
on
do
us.
It. I have complete faith in you.
If we get like 12-year-olds, I'm like, we're screwed. But there are 3,500 players registered for this tournament. That's got to be a record, the biggest tournament
Just
ever.
logistics of that is
insane,
crazy.
Yeah, insane. There are, in fact, in our bracket alone, 37 teams in our bracket, and a huge wait list on top of that.
So is it pool play?
It is pool play, single elimination after that.
Right.
Yeah. And if you go into the back draw, you can only go up to bronze. That's what happened to us last year. We went to the back draw like third game in, and then, man, we had to work our way through. I felt like 12 matches after that. Maybe it was more like 8 to 10, but it was a lot. So gold this year, don't go into the back draw. Try to make it to gold. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a ton of fun. And there's, most other paddle reviewers are going. I'm staying with Chris Olson and a bunch of other folks at a Airbnb that he rented. My family's going to be there, so my mom and dad, I'm flying them out Thursday through Saturday, and just want to get them to, see. My dad's been hugely into watching pro pickleball. Like, he knows all the pro players and stuff, so he's going to be really stoked on getting to, actually see him face to face. And
so what's JJ's game like? I mean, what do you guys do well together, and what are some...
So JJ is tall and lanky, kind of similar to me, probably a little taller than me, actually. He's got a really great inside-out slice serve. Got a lot of free points off of that last year.
Like a backhand serve? Or
no, it's a forehand inside out.
Gotcha.
Just, curves off to the side of the court, especially going to the backhand of the person on the ad court, And he's just got a well-rounded, play style. There's no kind of real weaknesses. He's not tilted into power or a control game. I feel like both of us are kind of centered right on the, in between aggressive versus controlled or defensive, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we've played exactly, once together, in the past. So it'll be another learning curve, but we meshed pretty well last year.
Do you think he'll be stacking or just go straight up?
No, we'll go straight up.
All right.
Unless he wants, I don't care. I'll go right or left and or, play straight up, stack, whatever. I'm good.
Well, good luck to you guys.
Yes, thank you.
We're all cheering for you.
We'll talk
Can we
in
watch
a minute. See what?
Can we watch your cameras live?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll if we ever make it onto Grandstand Court, I'll let you know.
All right.
Send you the link. It won't happen, but maybe commentating though. I think it actually will on Friday. So for semifinals, I'll be commentating. I don't know who I'll be commentating with yet. But it'll be on Grandstand Court, so tune in. I got a 2-hour slot at some point there.
Men's doubles?
I don't know if it's a progressive draw or it's going to be your kind of standard thing. So I don't know. But we will see. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a minute. So I recorded this episode with Scott Fliegelman yesterday for the breakthrough, and it gave me some solid tips on here's how to distill everything we've learned so far into like 3 or 4 main key points to focus on at the tournament to do well. I'll talk about those in the tips section. But yeah, he kind of gave me some tips. So he asked the same thing: what kind of player is JJ? How do you guys play on the court? And so we'll talk about that on the tips of the week a little later. All right, Eddie. PBVision update. So do you remember I was talking about it a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I put in like one game, and it was like, you're a 5-0, and I'm like, yes, I am.
Stop there.
And I'm like, that they definitely need to work on their algorithm. Well, that was one game, right? And we can fluctuate in game to game from literally like 2 full duper points, which I've realized. I now have 30 plus games logged, and you can see the screenshot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this is my current skill rating, which is 4.34, which I think is very accurate. They have done some updates and working on the lower skill levels to get them more accurate. So what I love about this is it breaks down your skill rating into categories. So we have serve here, return, offense, defense, agility, and consistency. And I got to tell you, Eddie, this is a surprise to me because I tend to think that when I'm more of an aggressive player, I need to tone that back because I usually make mistakes when I get too aggressive. That part's true. But I thought I would be leaning aggressive. And if you get down to the play style, I'm like right in the middle between defensive and aggressive. And if you look at my overall scores.
So are you translating aggressiveness into this offense subcategory of skill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of, So aggressive, I guess, is the wrong word. Offensive is a better word.
You are offensive. Everyone says so.
But if you look, my offense is better than my defense. These scores, I get a 4.2 on average for offense, No, I guess my defense is a little better. 4.28 for defense. So I need to work on offense. That's telling me something here. And those are 2 of my lowest scores. My highest scores are on my serve, my return, and surprisingly, consistency. I never would have expected me to score high on consistency.
What about that agility score?
The agility is low too. That's me. That's my old man agility as well as recovering from a foot surgery. So I need to work on agility, defense, and offense apparently. And I was, pleasantly surprised to see that I'm consistently getting my serves deep. I might do like a little screen recording and put it in as B-roll, but it's really fascinating to use this because you can see for each game there's a 3D image of the court, and you can filter for third shots or serves or returns or fourths or fifths or sixth shots, and it'll show you just those shots and the trajectory of every ball you hit, including the ones that go into the net, the ones that go long and wide, and it'll give you like a rating on how good that is. So on the serves, it's looking for deep serves, and fast serves, and it'll give you a rating on that, and thirds, and it's really cool. And you can take and spin the court around and look at it in different angles and 3 dimensions. And super cool. Anything on here you see that's interesting?
It'd be cool to dive into this shot type graph.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the shot type is really kind of your overall production and how you spread out the shots. But I'd be curious to see like your success percentage on each of those to see how you're doing on drives and dinks and the like.
You definitely can. You can filter for different shot types as well, and it allows you to really drill into each one of these categories. Right. It's a really impressive tool, and it's something that's helping me, learn about my game and presumably try to improve it.
Has Scott seen these numbers?
No, I didn't get into details with Scott on these.
Okay.
Next episode, I think that'll be warranted. But yeah, so some things I hear a lot of people saying, like serve speed. Everybody's like, I know I'm serving then faster than what it's showing me. And I thought that at first too. So my average serve speed is 33.3 miles per hour. And I'm like, dude, I serve faster than that. And what I realized is it's taking not the peak speed. So when we use a radar gun, that's showing us peak speed, and I'm often over 60 miles an hour on the hardest serves here at peak speed. But what it's taking is the time between the hit, the strike, and the return, and then it's what's the average speed during that trajectory. And peak speed is very different than the speed after it gets to the paddle of the receiver, right? It slows down a lot, especially this wiffle ball we use, right? So I think it's showing you the average speed. And I actually went back in the Stalker 3S radar gun data, I went back and looked at, they call it live speed, which is basically what the speed it is when it gets closest to the radar gun, and I'm shooting towards the radar gun, and that's almost exactly this.
Wow.
So it's accurate. It's just not what most people are used to seeing in terms of radar gun readings. All right, so they do have a new update on PBVision that has improved the accuracy for people in the 3.0 to 4.0 range, so that mid-tier improved it by 45%. And they're using like metadata from Duper and footage of people with 100% reliability scores of Duper and using that to kind of improve their accuracy here. So big jump in improvement there. They're also, the new update better handles mixed gender matchups. Most of my matches here have been men's doubles. There was only one or two mixed doubles, so I can't speak to that, but apparently that's being improved. Next up is going to be refinement in the 4.0 to 5.0 range. That's expected in 2 weeks. There's also now live player trends, so you can track your progress over time. You can see ratings of each game, of your combined performance across the last 90 days, for example, and then each game you can drill into, obviously. And then they have new drilling analytics. So you can get, like you and I drilled this morning, we could have put up a camera and it'll give you these 2-person sessions, and you can now look at your accuracy among the shots in 3D and that sort of thing. It's not going towards your score, your performance score, but it's showing you kind of how well you did during your drill session.
It'd be really cool to see how you do against different opponents and different styles. To say, yeah, I'm actually doing quite well against this type of player, but I'm struggling against this type of player in shot, and this is what I need to work on. That would be really cool information. Yeah,
you can do that as long as they're members. Right. So what happens you upload your game. It goes through an AI processor. It usually takes 30 minutes or an hour or so, and then it's ready. And then as soon as you open that game, it asks you to select who you are out of 4 people. You select yourself. Then it gives you, game stats and, players, percentages. And then if you can drill into yourself. And then if there's somebody like Tony Spinuzzi, I've been playing with him. He has an account, and I tagged him as well because he's a member. And then I can drill into his play characteristics too, like what was his overall performance score, how were his thirds, what's his miles per hour on returns, that sort of thing. So that gives you the capacity to really kind of see how well you're doing against other players.
Really cool.
Yeah. It is pretty shocking how much it fluctuates. Like I'm 4.3 something on average, but my highest has been a 5.5, my lowest has been like a 3.8, right? And that makes sense. Sometimes I play like a 3.8. I don't know about the 5.5 bar, but there's a huge amount of fluctuation. But it is cool that it's landing about where my duper is, my real duper. So pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Might have to sign up.
Yes, sir. All right, Eddie. Paddles of the week, shall we?
Let's go.
All right. We do have a sponsor, one of our old sponsors. I'm glad that Centerline has reached out again, and they are sponsoring this segment. So, Centerline, you're wearing it right now. That's premium pickleball performance. You actually, established that relationship a while back. Big fan of all their clothing. Would say that they do all run kind of in the loose category. So if you like loose clothing, that's the new thing, apparently.
I would say for the tops, yes. Their shorts, I think, are pretty well spot on.
But if you like the more tailored fit, go a size down. That's what I did, and they fit just fine. Some of their technology includes the Grip Tech, which is mostly on their shorts and Sqairz, I think, which is basically that terry cloth insert where you can wipe your hands dry on them. Their Airlight collection, which you're wearing, I think here, is just fantastic in terms of its moisture wicking capacities and how cool it is. It quick dries and all that. And they also all have UV protection built in, which is important for me with a history of skin cancer. And you can take 20% off with the code Johnkew. 20%. That's a generous discount. So thank you to Centerline.
I love their, I don't know what they call it, but I call it loungewear too. Like their sweatpants and their hoodies are just very soft and plush and so comfortable. Yeah,
their sweats in particular are like 4-way stretch material, and I actually have a hard time if I have a sock on, getting my foot through because it's so stretchy. My toe will catch on the fabric and it's just like it'll stretch out like 2 feet. So you got to kind of work your way in.
First world problems, John.
First world problems. All right, good sir. Let's move on to the first paddle of the week, the Enhanced Duo. Thank you to Erica for she just collected the swing weight, twist weight, and bound and static weight.
And her penmanship alone is worth keeping her around.
Yes,
for.
Absolutely. And I do want to say thank you to Enhance for sending this fantastic piece of art. I saw they sent it to other paddle reviewers too. So this is an image, likeness of you and me, Eddie. I'm the bearded one.
I'm the one with an abnormally large amount of hair, which I don't have.
You kind of got that going on. Hey, for somebody in their 50s, you get a lot of hair.
Yeah, too funny.
Hilarious. I love it. They put me on the attention to detail is pretty great.
That's hilarious.
I'm on the drum set. They got the Kew cannon shooting a paddle, not a ball.
I guess you're doing your methodology backwards, John. You're supposed to be shooting the paddle at the ball.
Well, yep. I need to look at this algorithm they've got on the chalkboard over here to learn. I got like flasks and a scientific lab here. I dig it. No, I love this.
That's very cute.
Definitely will be framed. So thank you to Enhance. Yeah, and they have a new paddle coming out, launching November 15th, called the Duo. It'll be 175 before code. So, not the most expensive paddle on the market, not the cheapest, probably right about where most multi-density foam core paddles are landing today. Maybe a little cheaper, actually. Most of them are coming in, I feel like, right around 200 before code.
Anything different about the construction on this one?
Yeah, so let's look at the X-Ray. If you look at the X-Ray, it looks very similar to most other paddles coming out of the same factory that are producing the Honolulus, the Locos, the Boomstiks. So you can see what is EPP foam in the center and an EVA band around that, and then you even have that signature of that factory is the carbon fiber strip, or sometimes it's bidirectional weave of fiberglass on the sides. You see that kind of ghosting on the sides, the lateral sides. It adds twist weight. It also helps protect the surface of the paddle from crushing inwards on that soft EVA foam. And then polypropylene in the handle. But the X-ray doesn't really show exactly what's going on here, because what they're doing here is not an EVA band around the perimeter going all the way through surface to surface. What they've done is ridged the EPP foam core so that it does actually go all the way out to the perimeter here, but it's narrow and ridged on those perimeters, and then they have two EVA inserts on either side of the paddle, so it's like a tri-layer cake on the edges, right? And then a solid EPP foam in the center. New way to do things. It's not, I wouldn't call it a floating core, because the EVA does extend all the way edge to edge, right? It's just
EPP.
EPP, thank you. It's more just kind of foam enhanced, right? So,
I gotcha.
In a unique way. So I do applaud them for doing that.
So those white lines that sort of surround the main part of that EPP core, that's carbon fiber?
Probably carbon fiber. Sometimes it's fiberglass.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also a drawing of what we're doing underneath the X-rays. So what they're doing to the edges of the core. Okay. Information here. So the stock weight, static weight is 8.05 ounces, and this is an elongated shape. The swing weight is 119, and twist weight is 6.6. So, yeah, pretty good, actually, swing weight to twist weight ratio for an elongated paddle, especially a full foam without the, holes or recesses in the EPP. Sometimes you get pretty high swing weights on those. So, overall, pretty good swing weight twist weight ratio. Eddie, why don't we talk about how it plays?
My favorite paddle from this company to date. I think it looks great.
Oh yeah, definitely improved the
the branding is great. I love the splash of red on there. You could feel that. The twist weight number on this for an elongated paddle, I think is solid, and that's without weight. Yeah. You added weight to it; it definitely helped even more. It plays solidly. Good power, good spin. I need some more time with it. The one issue area I had with it today was in resets. I'm so used now to just holding the paddle up and letting the paddle do the work. And on a couple of resets, those came off perfectly and beautifully back into your kitchen. On others, the ball just kind of dribbled off, went a foot and just died. So I need some more time with it to figure out why that is, if I'm hitting the ball in the wrong area of the paddle. But I felt like, I was accurate with my ball strike. It just died.
Okay.
And maybe there's a structural reason for that, but it could just be user error.
Yeah. So to me, it's given me Carbon 1 True Foam Genesis vibes in a big way. It's a little stiffer frame, but it has that same density, the same kind of predictable, linear, I should say, power response. So it's dense, a dense feeling. The sweet spot, I'd say, is noticeably smaller than floating full foam cores like the Honolulus, like the Selkirk, Boomstik, like the Locos, and all the others. I feel like having that EPP go all the way out to the edge of the core makes it feel more similar to the others with a solid EPP sheet.
That makes sense.
Like the True Foam Genesis and like the original of the Enhances, whatever that one was called, the Gen 4.5, right? Mm-hmm. But I do feel something different in this. It doesn't feel entirely like just a single sheet of EPP edge to edge. I think the EVA is doing something. It's just not doing something as profound as it does for the floating ones, where the EPP is a solid band, face to face. Firepower is good on this. You hit that sweet spot and it's going. I'd say it's probably a little above the Carbon 1 True Foam Genesis.
So middle of the pack, a little bit above middle of the pack?
Just a little bit.
For high power?
So high power category, Carbon TFG 1 is at the low end of that. I'd put it, between the low and the middle portion of that, just from, winding up and getting, and that is with powerful, big swings. Mm-hmm. It's not very poppy. Yeah, I feel like the pop on this, it's very tilted towards the power side of the spectrum and less towards the pop side. Good spin. I feel like it's some dwell is coming into the spin to give it really good shape. I don't know if it's as good as the Carbons, the True Foam Genesis and the True Foam Waves, but close. But yeah, I do like how the frame feels stiffer. My hunch is that this is traditionally thermoformed, a little heat and pressure applied with a carbon fiber band around the entire perimeter, which stiffens up the neck, compared to the really flexy neck you get with the Carbons, right? So if you like that flex, then you're probably going to like the Carbons. If you like a stiffer frame, you're probably going to like this. Now, that does not mean that paddle necessarily feels stiff. To me, it feels medium softness and dense, So not that hollow, stiff feel you get from Gen 3s and some of the, like the Boomstik. This is more like dense and kind of medium softness, you know what I mean?
Yep. How were you on defense with this paddle?
Yeah, I felt the same thing. I think to me, it felt like the smaller sweet spot. It was, if you hit it right there, it would reset just fine. But I'm getting spoiled with the, floating
for sure.
full foam cores where you can hit 2-3 inches off the off the sweet spot and still get it over the net. Mm-hmm. This wasn't that forgiving.
Gotcha.
And we have a high standard now for sweet spot. Sure. This is not a bad sweet spot. Neither was the Carbon 1 True Foam Genesis when it was released early this year. But by modern standards, I did feel a drop off in sweet spot for this, but I like it. I definitely think it's I like this better than their Gen 4.5, sure. Both in looks and performance. I like the innovation where they're going with a new way to enhance a full foam paddle with EVA. And I think they're on a good path.
Definitely on the right track.
Yeah, on the right track. Hello. Anything else to say about
Nope, let's
the duo?
Move on.
Good stuff. All right. Let's move on to the Apes Charm.
Oh, that color.
These Halloween guys. We need to draw a pumpkin face on it. I don't mind the color. I mean, I'm colorblind. that might have something to do with it.
It's a gift.
But I assume, I didn't even look. This has got to be Kevlar Airmid on the surface because you can't get carbon fiber that color, right? And I can see the twill weave. Looking at it, it's the traditional peel ply. And it comes in the classic 3 shapes. So we have the S, which is their hybrid shape, got the V, which is their wide body, and the X, which is their elongated. This one is launching on November 13th, so end of next week. It's got what they call a diced core. So let's look at the X-ray here. X-ray, you can't quite see it. You can kind of pick up on the incisions. But all right, X-ray first. You can see that there are these foam inserts on each corner, these PU foam inserts, really similar to
The Pulse.
Harmony.
Harmony.
Yeah. So the Harmony had this with polypropylene in the center, and this looks very similar to a Harmony except with EPP in the center.
Okay.
But you still get these big foam inserts on each corner. And if you go up to their diagram of what it looks like, you can see that they've made incisions side to side on the paddle, going the length of that EPP core. And what they're shooting for, what the purpose of that was for kind of basically whip and snap back. You get, when you hit it, it's going to flex a little bit and then send the ball back. So they're purposefully putting some flex in the beam frame of the paddle with these. I do think that's a really smart idea to incise your EPP foam. I feel like we're going to see a lot more of this coming from other brands because it does. You can manipulate the flexibility to flex the direction of the flex of the paddle in ways you just can't. You can enhance dwell, and it reduces weight overall, and it allows you to be more experimental with perimeter weighting. So I think it's really smart to do this. And
it looks like there's also some vertical lines as well. Is that?
I think they're just horizontal.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're much fainter in the vertical.
Okay. Anyway, so those horizontal lines are gonna increase flex along the total beam of the paddle. So I thought it was pretty cool. I don't have a price on this. I imagine it's going to be the same as the Harmonies and everything else. So close around that $200 mark before code. We had with these today. What do you think, Eddie?
Man, these are a lot of fun, John. I would say they're for a particular type of player, though. So you've called it catch and release lately. Mm-hmm. It's got very high dwell time, which can be disconcerting for some who like a kind of a stiff response, a very sort of instantaneous response. This isn't that. This is very much a pocketed feel, a lot of power delivery, but you kind of have to wait on that power for that kind of reaction time is what I'm picking up from this paddle. But otherwise, the feeling is great. It feels very plush, on the softer side for feel. Mm-hmm. But you're getting a lot of performance from this paddle. It's very balanced. It's very forgiving. Mm-hmm. But again, that power generation takes a bit of time to get used to.
Yeah. Yeah, well said. It's a very soft feeling paddle to me. A ton of dwell time. It's a denser feel, not the hollow feel you get with a lot of some of the other Gen 3s as well as some of the newer Gen 4s. And I did feel the flex. It was not as pronounced as the flex you get in Gen 1 paddles by any means, like the Paddle Techs, for example, or it wasn't as pronounced as what we're feeling in the Black Opal. It wasn't as pronounced as what we're feeling in the Carbon True Foam Genesis and True Foam Waves. But I was a little skeptical. I'm like, man, I don't like flexible paddles, especially ones that flex at the neck. But it was manageable to me, and it wasn't unpleasant. I felt like it did enhance the dwell time on this one. And I think what's happening is that the frame is actually stiff on this. It's a thermoformed paddle, so you do get that, that beam all along the edges of carbon fiber and to seal it up. But what's flexing is the core and not necessarily the frame. I think that it's helping the frame flex a little bit more than it would normally, but I feel like we're getting a little bit more trampoline in the core because of those incisions. What I'd like to see is maybe include some vertical incisions to make it more trampoline-y, to have that bidirectional flex in the core. Clearly you have to pass deflection and PBCOR, but I feel like just experimenting with the directionality of the incisions, I think, is going to be pretty key.
Yep. Yeah. Your thoughts on power?
Power, I'd put it, it's a little more power than the Harmony, significant more power than the Harmony. I'd put it top of all quarter, bottom of the high power.
Okay.
Yeah.
I give it a touch more power than that.
Okay. Like low.
30% of the high power range.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was hitting it side by side today with the Duo definitely had more power with full swings, and what my Sqairz weren't going as fast with the Charms, but ample power. I do like kind of where it's situated on the firepower level. It's a very forgiving paddle overall, and it's not, I don't feel like everybody needs a paddle at the tip of the spear in terms of legal power. This is going to fit the majority of people's play style a little better.
I love the defensive game with this paddle. That ability to just reset the ball, let the paddle do the pocketing of the ball, sort of catch it, and then throw it back very nicely.
For sure.
It just feels beautiful.
For sure. I do have weights on this. So static weight on the V, which is the wide body, 8.2. Swing weight, 112. Very low. Swing weight, very high. Twist weight at 7.6. So the X, which is their elongated, static weight of 8.3, swing weight of, 125. So a lot of swing weight on that one. Twist weight, 6.52. And the S, static weight, 8.15, swing weight, 118, twist weight, 6.6. So did you have a favorite shape of these three?
I preferred the X today. I felt like I could do a lot more things with it. It was well balanced in terms of that twist weight, swing weight ratio. So, yeah, I'm taking the X, although the V is a close second, just for the massive size of the sweet spot on that one.
Interesting. Yeah, I like the X too. I think this is a solid shape. It did feel a little heavy, and we did put about 3 grams of weighted tape on each side. So I imagine that brought the swing weight up to probably like 128-ish. I did notice the swing weight, but the trade-off with that is a lot more power on this one because you get the leverage with the length and just more mass. If you can get the paddle head speed up with this one with big full backswings, my Sqairz were much more noticeably more powerful with this compared especially to the wide body. I feel like my favorite, though, today was the S with this as a close second. So the hybrid shape was my favorite. We did put some weight on this also, but I feel like the weight was more manageable to me. Just
for
felt
some
more
reason,
familiar.
that felt even slower in the hand to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if it has a higher balance point.
It could.
But yeah.
I don't like the orange color, though. I didn't mind the lavender of the pulse. The harmony was fine, but this one is, I don't think I could do it.
I think if you put they are white edge guards. I don't mind it. And maybe put like some white tape over the edge guards.
Different edge guard would be fine. The orange face doesn't even bother me.
Okay, yeah.
It's that edge guard.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of like what they're making themselves stand out from other paddles in terms of their looks. And I do appreciate that, their innovation here. Nobody else is really doing things like they were with the Harmony, and the Harmony wasn't a huge success for them. I feel like they probably sold a lot of them, but it kind of fell, I feel like, a little bit below the firepower that most people kind of want. It's kind of, all court for sure. Middle to maybe upper part of all court. This one's got a little more juice to it for sure, and I feel like it's a little more even forgiving than the Harmony, especially if you're used to that full foam feel. And huge sweet spots on these. They, you don't need much modification. Most people, I feel like, can take these out stock and just play with them totally fine.
Yep.
And yeah.
I'd love to get some more time with these, John. I feel like, I don't know, they might break into the leaderboard.
Okay, I like it. Okay. Even with the color, huh?
Even with the color.
Speaking of leaderboard, Eddie, do we have any updates last week? Let me give everybody a little bit of a recap.
Sure.
So last week we had a paddle leaderboard. We talked about our top 5 paddles. Eddie's choices were number 5, the 6-0 Black Opal. Number 4, Rhombus Quanta, R4 shape. Number 3, Bread and Butter Loco, particular shape.
Hybrid.
Hybrid, okay.
Yeah.
Love's Inferno was number 2, and Nevadic VSOL Pro long handle flash was number 1. Mine were from 5 to 1. 5th was also the Black Opal. 4th, split between the Quanta and the VSOL Pro. 3rd, Boomstik. 2nd, Love's Inferno, split with Bread and Butter Loco. I was cheating last week. Had too many good paddles to winnow down to 5. And then number 1 on my list was Gearbox GX2 Power Hybrid. Eddie, do you have any changes to our leaderboard?
No changes this week, boy, but when you read that list back to me, I could easily just interchange 1 through 3 on that list and switch the order around depending on the week. They're such good paddles.
Okay.
But I don't know, that Apes might make an entry here soon.
I like it. But I did see you kind of cradling the Bread and Butter Loco today, like it was, a precious infant to you. Is that working its way up from 3 maybe to 2?
It might. We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, I really am enjoying the Loco lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
how about you?
My list, I wouldn't say it's necessarily changed. I guess I have to say it's changed. So I did make a commitment to play with the Luz Inferno for Worlds. Not to Luz. Like I had to commit to one or the other. Is that they're going to be the Gearbox GX2 Power Hybrid or the Luz Inferno. And the more I play with that thing, the more I love it. It's just breaking in a bit. The power's not crazy, but man, the forgiveness on that. You play with it today for a game, and
Still so good.
it's a good paddle.
It's getting louder, though.
It's, thunky, and man, the sound of it is very bassy. But yeah, I just feel like I had to choose one or the other, and I'm going to choose that one to play with at Worlds.
At Worlds.
We'll
Do you have a backup?
We'll see where it takes us. The Gearbox GX2 Power.
Okay.
It's going to be the backup. For sure. I mean, unless I get there and realize that the Dallas humidity and temperature and altitude are just such that I need something a little more poppy, then I might actually try the Boomstik. We'll see. But for now, Luz Inferno is the plan.
All right. Excellent. So is that now moving into the number one slot for you?
I guess it's got to be if it's going to be my main.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Oh, by the way, an update on the Luz Inferno. Let me grab that in the other bags. All right, so the Luz I have doesn't have the dual certified stamp on. They're all dual certified with EPA and USAP. It's just that their early batches did not actually have both stamps on them. So they are sending 2 paddles. They're going to be here any day. One for you, and another one for me. As a backup, and those do have the dual stamps. So there are some rumors in Discord, etc., that the ones with the dual stamps somehow hit differently. So we will test it out and see. Some people say they don't get the big boomy sound, and it might feel a little stiffer. I don't know. We will find out, but I just wanted to mention that.
You put that edge guard to the test, John.
Oh my God. I thought about using like nail polish remover and just removing all of it. Go to white.
Go white?
That might be pretty cool, or it might look like horrible, so I'm reluctant to.
It looks pretty horrible now.
Yeah, it does. I guess it couldn't look much worse, right? But it's a well-used paddle.
And you're loving those Bodhi grips?
Yes, sir. Bodhi all day. It's my grip of choice. I use the regular the Neonic dry ones, right?
Right. Yep.
Which Bodhi makes a dry one too. Have you tried those?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay. I think I might have some. I'll give them to you here.
Yeah.
Speaking of gear, let's move on to gear of the week. Like I said, a lot of companies are making bags and shoes these days. I'm kind of having a shoe crisis too. Like I don't know what shoe I'm going to wear to Worlds to play in. I keep switching back and forth to different shoes.
You were wearing Selkirk today, right?
Yeah, the Selkirk Pros, which are a little too stiff for my liking. Just all that extra support. My toe crammed into the top of the shoe at one point today. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I did want to talk about Franklin's new bag lineup today. So you've probably seen this on some other podcasts.
Oh man, that's
last week, but this is their new
cavernous
Pro Tour bag. It is gigantic.
Good Lord.
I did not get the internal dimensions in terms of liters, but I imagine it's got to be right up there with the Sqairz. Yeah, maybe you can find it. So far, they're like the biggest tour bag in terms of capacity has been the Sqairz. I feel like this one can't be far behind. The quality and craftsmanship on this bag looks great. Like it's got I'd call it probably a PU leather. I don't know what they're calling it, but looks very durable. I think the zippers are YKZ zippers, so the good ones. But everything looks top quality. Even the sides, this side of the, I don't know if I can get that in the camera, but it's just like this embossed, rubberized
really
texture.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's that bag called?
I suppose they'll collapse. It is the Pro Series Bag 2. Maybe it's not on their website yet. Oh, here's the capacity. 24 inches by 13.5 by 12 inches. No, there's bigger than 12 inches. What are they talking about there?
Yeah, I don't see that on their website yet.
Okay. Anyhow, another contender. Geez, I don't even have the price here. Did not prepare well for this bag. Sorry, Franklin. I'll give an update later, but I imagine it's going to be right around the 150 mark, maybe a little less. Which for this level of quality, I'd say is great. My one big gripe is look how dark that interior is.
That's a black hole.
That is a black hole. It's a black bag with a black interior. I do love that there is a ton of organization on the inside. I mean, normally these big bags on the inside don't have much, but there's 1, 2, 3, stretchy pockets and a zipper pocket behind that. As they're dedicated. Big stretchy water bottle pocket here. You can change it into a duffel by putting the backpack straps into this back pocket, which goes all the way down to the bottom here. Presumably you can, if you have a really large handle on your suitcase, you can slide a handle all the way through the top here. And
any thermo pockets?
Yeah, let's check that. I imagine this beefy one on the side is all thermal. Yeah.
Oh, man, that is gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge. And you could live out of this bag for weeks. Yeah, and this is over here where there's a softer, plusher interior, so you're not scratching up your paddles. Dedicated shoe compartment on the bottom. Pretty standard layout for a pro tour pickleball bag, but it's standout looks on this. I think it's a great addition to the lineup.
It's very sleek.
And then they have like some more feminine colorways with different packs here. So this one, this is pink and
It
gold.
is pink, yep.
So the Flex backpack. So we've got lots of different compartments, oversized bottle storage, paddle pockets, 3 individual paddle pockets. On the inside, there's a luggage strap, so you can put it over your luggage here, right? Or the handle of your suitcase. Tiny little pocket up here with a hitch for your pack
Does
to
the
hang
other
on
one
the
have
fence.
a fence hanger?
Oh, that's a good idea. Why don't you check? A little worried about the gold zippers on this and the gold accessories. I feel like they're metal, but I feel like that gold plating might chip off with use. But that's just a hunch. I don't know.
That's too bad. No fence hanger.
Oh, really? Okay. So the inside has these, sleeves for paddles. You can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paddles pretty easily in this. The other one's a little smaller. Quite a bit smaller. So this one is the Parker paddle bag. It's more, kind of gives me a sling vibe, right? A little sling-ish. It's got just your basic necessities. So a few mesh pockets in the front pocket. It's got a side handle if you're going to carry it like a suitcase. You've got a paddle sleeve in here and more storage for paddles or shoes, presumably, if you want to put shoes in here. So yeah, kind of like it how they're not these are not black or gray bags, they're, something kind of special for.
Okay. So
people with more
$90 on the
feminine
Flex,
tastes.
$55 for the Parker.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. We didn't not get the Pro Tour bag yet?
No.
Okay. All right. Another bag that arrived is the Neonic Sidekick. This one I'm really impressed with. I haven't used it yet, obviously. The tags are still on it. But again, the quality on this looks top notch. This is definitely like the silky feeling PU leather. And it's got a ton of pockets and different things going on for it. And it just feel those back straps.
Oh, yeah.
Really plush, It gives me kind of the forward kitchen caddy vibe at a much cheaper price. So these are only $109. So after discount, that brings it down to below $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that style of fence hanger, and those zipper pulls are really nice.
Yeah. Everything looks top quality on this. I mean, the top handle is really like squishy EVA foam, and it's like triple stitched. There's no way that thing's breaking. Inside, we've got just a ton of options here. Hidden pockets on the side, 2 on each side, these stretchy mesh pockets. Got another stretchy mesh pocket on the bottom, 2 more back here, another one here, another sleeve here. So you can fit probably 4 paddles in here pretty easily, plus, charging
Ball
pods
pockets
here, and balls, side pockets here, 2 on each, and these do stretch out a lot, and they stretch back to make it look pretty sleek. Something about a shoe compartment in here is really unique for this, I think. Oh, yeah. So it has, let me zip this main compartment up so I can show you better. So rarely do backpacks like this store shoes internally, but this actually has a zipper where you can expand the central compartment,
All right.
and you can stick your shoes in the bag. Oh, there's 2 expansions inside. So yeah, you can slide your shoes in here, and they have ventilation on the bottom, and fit pretty. I can fit my shoes in here, no problem. It's pretty big shoes. So I just feel like there's a ton of accoutrements on this bag that set it apart from others, and especially at that price point. I'm actually considering taking this one to Worlds instead of the one I've been maining for a while now.
You know what I like best about it, John?
What?
It's underbranded.
There we
No
go.
slogans, no catchy quotes.
Yeah, just one
That's
simplified paddle on
love
the
that.
front. Yeah, I feel like that's smart. I'm going to try to get this back because I'm curious now.
That
Is
could
it
pass
good
for
run
a
twice?
kind of a work backpack as well.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, neat. Yeah, that expandable zipper like literally wraps around twice, so you can expand
Nice.
it
Yeah.
slightly or all the way. Good stuff from
So when
Neonic.
you bring back your gifts for me, you'll have extra room for that.
Yes, sir. All right. I love seeing all these accessories and bags and shoes coming out for pickleball specific brands. Speaking of which, one more pair of shoes that I wanted to talk about. So I've been sitting on these for a while, but I was injured most of the time I had them, so I finally got to go out and play competitively in them. And these are the Sqairz XRZ shoes. So these are a collaboration between Sqairz and Pro XR, and they're $135, and they have the Sqairz traditional square toe box, which, that's kind of all the rage, and people who want to have healthy feet need to have larger toe boxes. And so the theory is that shoes just look better with rounded toes, and it's an aesthetically appealing thing. And even though these may not look as great, the square-toed shoes, they perform better, and they're much better for your feet. They allow your toes to
I think they
spread
look
out.
great.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a fan of the square toe look.
It's not really squared. It's still got a bit of roundedness to it.
Okay. Yeah. They feel a little dress shoe-ish look just in terms of shape. But I have to say, I did like the way they played. I had pretty narrow feet, so I was expecting maybe the toe boxes would be too big, but that wasn't the case. I didn't even need to cinch up the laces too much, and I wasn't getting a lot of toe cramming in the toes either. They just fit pretty well, and they've got a lot of cool tech going on in here as well. So they do have a reinforced silicone toe cap for the toe draggers, and just in general to reinforce and make sure that no holes develop. They had these TPU heel stabilizers going around the back and up to the midsole of the shoe, so that creates more stability in the back there. It's also an anti-torsion support from heel to the forefoot. These laces are unique. Feel those laces. So they have like rubberized components.
I dig that.
Embedded into them so that when you tie them, they're locked.
I dig it.
They don't come untied as easily.
This is really interesting, this material.
Yeah.
Does it breathe?
It's breathable.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a breathable
nice.
material. So yeah, overall I was impressed with these. I don't know the durability of the outsoles. I'm not sure if they have a 6-month outsole warranty. I'll look that up. But overall, they were more comfortable than I expected, because you can see there's a lot of support built into these, back here, on the sides, on the front. But I feel like it didn't hinder comfort as much as I expected.
One of the better looking shoes that we've seen lately.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
I like the hot
For the
take,
toe,
Eddie.
I mean, the toe cap is rounded, like here on the inside.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives the optical illusion of less squaredness.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a fan of exactly the aesthetics of them, but I'll wear them because they are good shoes.
They're functional.
They're not offensive to me.
Man, these laces alone are worth the price of admission.
So yeah, I mean, good stuff coming out all around from all the companies. So well done, Sqairz, for collaborating with Pro XR. All right, Eddie, let's move on.
Want to do some fun facts?
Let's do tip of the week first.
Tip of the week.
Yeah. So like I said, I had an episode with Scott Fliegelman recorded yesterday just to prep me for Worlds. and I was getting a bit of kind of paralysis by analysis from all the things he's taught me, over the months prior. And then I had the injury and I was laid off for a couple months and getting back into it. I'm like, man, there's just so much to try to remember. What are like 3-4 key things I can focus on for a tournament, And clearly you need the reps and repetitions and to drill all these concepts to make it muscle memory so you can just perform, without thinking about it at the tournament. But I wanted a few things to focus on at the tournament, and that's what we focused on. So I'm going to give you one of these things that he talked about yesterday. So his deal was, especially at the 4.0 to 4.5 level, to have really proactive fourth shots. And not many people think much about their fourth shots. Like you return, you think a lot about your serve, your return, and your third shots. And then by the time the fourth shot rolls around, most people are just like, yeah, I'll do whatever with it. But he wanted to instill kind of some, a real plan what to do with the fourth. So he said for like JJ and myself in particular, and anybody competing at this level, look to return down the line. And then the partner at the kitchen, who's already at the kitchen, crunches middle. So the geometry of that is such that, you return down the line and they can't really pass the person crunching in the middle. They can't pass them nearly as easily as a person hitting the ball from the center of the court or especially on that side of the court, because of geometry, right? Even if you're straddling the center line of the court right at the kitchen and they hit a heavy drive at your left shoulder, that's likely going to go out if you get out of the way, right? Because it's going to go wide or long, right? So just that pattern, like just focus on the 4 shots. Okay, on second shot, return down the line. It's a little bit harder than returning middle or cross court, and you're dealing with less space. But if you can return down the line, just you and your partner have a plan before that your partner is going to crunch middle hard. And just seeing that person becoming very offensive, aggressive in the center is likely going to affect the third shot effectiveness of the serving team, right? They're going to see that, and it's going to probably lead to some high thirds or thirds into the net because they know, I got to get it away from that person being aggressive in the center.
Yeah, that level of activity is very distracting.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, and then there's another concept of the force. Actually hitting the force, you want to keep your opponent's back, obviously. Sure. But there's the anti-shake and bake side of this fourth also. So if you do end up, because you can't always return down the line, if you're feeling a little bit tight and you're not feeling it, you want a little bit more cushion for mistakes, return it down the middle. And then if your opponents are of the shake and bake mentality, which is very frequent and at this level of 4.0 to 4.5, then there's an anti-shake and bake strategy that Scott mentioned. So the serving team tries to set up a shake and bake, and then you basically hit a 60% line drive on your fourth back at where the person trying to do the baking should be, right, on their side of the court. And it doesn't have to be a clean winner. You are going behind them, but you don't want to aim for the line. You're just aiming in the middle of their side of the court. And typically their momentum is moving center, and just that act of having to go back behind them or even somewhere on the chest while they're moving, it's just not the most ideal thing. What they're wanting is that big forehand in the middle, and you're just making them change their direction and their plan, right? It doesn't have to be at their feet even. It's just 60% line drive. You can make that almost every time, and back behind them basically to prevent them.
I noticed, John, today and recently for you've done a great job of redirecting drives softly.
That's all I can do with your drives. I've got no other choice.
Well, you're catching me either back or having to move directions, move angles to retrieve your soft return. It's very effective.
Yeah. Well, you have this crazy drive, and normally I have no problem with speedy drives because they're chest level. You just punch them down, but yours dip so hard that I'm hitting at waist level. So you kill me on those all the time. So that all I can do basically is just soft reset, dump it in the kitchen.
You're doing great.
All right.
Very nice.
Good stuff, Eddie.
No tips for technique. It's all strategy.
All strategy.
Good.
Right.
Smart.
All right. 2 fun facts. This is our new segment. I've been thinking about renaming this. Do you remember that Saturday Night Live skit, Deep Thoughts from John and Eddie? Yes. This could be Deep Thoughts from John and Eddie. Right. How about that? All right. What's your fact this week?
I don't really have a fact, but I have been enjoying the World Series. Did you watch any of it?
No.
Oh, my God. Every game was a nail-biter. One game in particular, 18 innings, like almost 7 hours long, I think,
Wow.
for one game.
That is nutso.
So the level of competition, the intensity was just really addictive to watch. So I'm going to test you here. I was born in 1969. Do you happen to know who won the World Series in 1969?
I like this. I'm going to go St. Louis Cardinals.
It was the New York Mets, believe it or not. They had a banner year. The Jets won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And the Mets won the World Series in 1969.
What do you know? Are you a Jets fan?
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a hardcore, dedicated fan base.
But for New York to take 2 championships in 1 year, that had to be just crazy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't take you as watching hours of baseball.
Not a huge baseball fan, but just I enjoy sports when they're like very high level competition and very intense. I can get into any sport, really.
I like it.
1972, your birth year, John.
Uh-huh.
Do you happen to know who won the World Series that year?
I'm going to go St. Louis Cardinals.
You could keep guessing that. You're going to be wrong most of the time.
It's my team, man.
The Oakland A's.
Okay.
Against the Cincinnati Reds.
All right.
Yeah.
What was their record? I don't know if they were surging. Like, were they big back in the 70s?
The A's? I would say so, yeah. I think the 70s in general were like the golden age of baseball.
Okay.
Good times.
Yeah. I remember just sitting in front of the TV with my dad mostly, just watching, what kind of kid today would watch like a 4-hour game on a TV? Nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
Right.
But as kids, we were watching the stat sheets and reading the paper the next day and seeing the scores. And, it's really a different time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
Eddie. My fun fact today is a condition I have called misophonia. And I like to think of myself as a very rational, level-headed person. Rarely do I get angry outside the pickleball court, even on the pickleball court, right? But yeah, I mean, like, that's my motto. Just like, I'm even-keeled. Rarely do I get thrown off.
Actually, you're pretty happy most of the time.
Yeah. Very happy person. But the sound of mastication or mouth noise it drives me up a wall. Like just smacking noises and this is what misophonia is, like an irrational level of emotion on some kind of repetitive noise, usually mouth noise from humans. Mine even extends to my pets. Like my dog, who's the sweetest dog in the world, love her to death. She'll go to drink some water. I'm just like looking at her, and I fully realize this is irrational. Like everybody makes noises with their mouths. And clearly, it's rude to like openly smack, as loud as you can. But I realize it. It sets me off. I get this internal just angst and just like, oh, this person needs to shut their mouth. And I know I do it too. And sometimes I've even self-reflected and caught myself smacking and just like, stop it. So I just thought it was a funny thing. It's just, and if you can get into like the actual like science of it. So research suggests that misophonia involves an overactivation of the limbic system in the brain, which is the brain's emotional center, which basically results in abnormal connectivity between the auditory cortex, so what you're listening to, and regions responsible for emotion, such emotional regulation. So it just trips me out. It's like humans are such weird creatures. Like we have basically a wet computer between our ears that's constantly kind of short-circuiting, right? Mm-hmm. Man, if AI ever becomes sentient, we are screwed. They're like, we need to put them out of their misery, right? They can't make decisions for themselves. But I'm going to link this back to another aspect of my past, which is I think this is also why I'm a musician, because I feel music really strongly. Like, do you ever listen to music and just get chills? Like,
sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah. But does it happen like all the time?
No.
It does for me. Like, I'll listen to a new song from an artist I never heard, and like the way they structured the song and the chorus and the hook, I'm just like, oh, you get this chills. Maybe like sometimes, not always, but like I'll tear up with like a really good musical piece, And it's just like something.
That's sweet, John.
Well, something about me is like really emotionally connected to music, and I think it's the same sort of that overstimulation of and connection between my emotional center of my brain and my ears. So two sides of a really strange part of my personality.
There's 36 teams at Worlds in your bracket making mental notes. Like, bring gum, drink out of a straw.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
That's hilarious.
All right.
Well, thanks
Misophonia.
for sharing, John. Misophonia.
It's a condition. Yep. It's not just people being crazy.
You want to do some Q&A?
Let's do it, buddy.
All right. A couple of questions from last week's episode where we talked about our leaderboard as well as some of your tales from the cannon. So
Okay.
these questions are related to that. This first one from Luke9822. I find it interesting that many of the top paddles preferred by paddle reviewers are not the paddles preferred by the top pros on the PPA circuit.
I read this one too.
I understand that there are commercial sponsorships at play here, but one would think that those companies with enormous budgets would have access to better R&D. So what do you think? We're liking a certain paddle. The pros are not using the ones that we're preferring. What's going on?
Yeah, I kind of asked this question in the James Gnatowicz interview. I'm like, are pros slowing down paddle innovation? And he kind of agreed. He's like, yeah, like you get locked into a particular paddle and you're reluctant to change, to something new. Now, the question is, are paddle reviewers kind of chasing the latest paddle trends, or is all the buzz around the full foam floating cores justified, and it really is an objectively better option for most people? I like to think the latter, for sure, but certainly it's open for debate. We do, as paddle reviewers, tend to see these shiny new objects and kind of really sparks our curiosity. Maybe we focus on those too much. But yeah, I feel like not everybody is open to changing their paddle preferences. I think a lot of people are, but I still think there's a big marketplace and space in pickleball for like Gen 1 paddles, and people still love their paddle techs, and rightfully so, even though they objectively have smaller sweet spots and, the neck flex is not for everybody. There are some people that love that and they don't want to change. So what do you think?
Do you think there's any relevance to the thought that, maybe pros have so much power already that some of these power paddles that we're playing with are frankly too much for them?
Yeah, I think even James mentioned that he's reluctant to adopt a floating full foam core for his main because he has a harder time controlling it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And he doesn't need the extra power. The guy generates crazy power with no backswing already with his Gen 3, kind of YOLA technology, which is, his RPM paddles are pretty powerful. I'd probably put him low to mid on the high power category, but not like the Selkirk Boomstik and some of the other,
Yeah. But these pros don't need extreme power. They probably don't need a huge sweet spot because they're very accurate in what they do. So they're looking at other things from the average Joe.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, and people like Ben Johns, I'm surprised he's actually playing with the most recent YOLO paddle, even though it was launched earlier this year, because he's very reluctant to embrace newer technology. And in fact, when he plays singles, he still plays with the 3S.
Amazing.
Yeah. And, he's dialed into that paddle. He likes the feel of fiberglass because that's what he started on, even though most people get a stiff feel from fiberglass that's unpleasing, but not for Ben.
All right.
I like that question.
All right. Our next question from Tim Aku or not sure how you would say that. But wouldn't you want, this is in regards to your Tales of the Cannon segment last week, where we were looking at sort of the core across the longitudinal face of a paddle. Wouldn't you want your curve to start low and go higher to maintain consistency with regard to swing speed? The topmost tip of the paddle moves the fastest in the swing arc. So if it has the lowest PB score, it will move the ball as much as a higher PB score, but on a slower part of the paddle.
Yeah.
So as long as you are swinging the same speed for your strokes, the ball will always react the same speed no matter where you are hitting it on the paddle, thus leading to a feeling of consistency. What are your thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, it's funny. I pulled in that same question. That was interesting. So, yeah, basically saying, given the paddle head speed with your typical swing arc, the head of the paddle is moving faster than we're closer to the fulcrum. So wouldn't it be better to have a little less power up top and a little more as you get closer to the bottom, which would we would interpret that as feeling more like a linear response across the entire paddle face. And short answer is we don't know yet. We don't know, this is kind of exciting new research. And I imagine it's different for different people. Different people are going to have different preferences. But I don't know if it's better to have something like that where it feels similar in taking into account your swing path, or something that the sweet spot is, or the performance spot, I should say, is a little higher for people that do tend to hit up high, or you get a discrepancy and you do have a hot spot down here where you rarely hit it, but it kind of stretches out the sweet spot, longitudinally on the paddle, like we discussed last week. Like I said, we don't know yet. So it's going to take, more kind of mapping onto these performance locations with the ball cannon and hitting with those paddles and, understanding our own preferences and then realizing whether or not that extends to the general public,
Saw another comment that was wanting some more like incremental measurements along the vertical face. Are you thinking about doing that?
Like half inches, every half inch? We do that sometimes. If we get like two nearly identical spots between 3 and 4 inches, we might go to 3.5. But for the most part, they're really close. It seemed to be kind of diminishing returns.
Gotcha.
What was I going to mention? I had something, but slipped out of my mind.
Well, that's what we got for this week, John.
I got a couple more questions.
Go. Yeah.
The segment last week about the ball cannon really resonated with people. So one question from one Darian Newman. He says that on the Selkirk, it seems the power goes up as you move to the throat, so going down this way. Would that help correct missed shots for the paddle that isn't moving as fast? He says, I'm on a paddle rental program, and it was one of my favorites, the Boomstik. So that's a similar argument. Like, yes, if you have a hot spot down here, you're not moving as fast, but if it'll help get the ball over on
the
missing.
reverse of the last question.
Yeah, exactly. So, same answer to that. We don't know yet, and we're trying to figure it out. But I just think it's fun that so many people had that same question. Here's another one from Robert Fuller. Please don't do the whiteboard again. It was distracting and hard to read.
Fair enough.
He's not wrong.
I don't know that everybody shares that opinion, but.
Right. I love it. He just laid his opinion out. I did see a screenshot. Brett Mack from PPA sent a screenshot out on our PPA Pick'em group, and he's like, what in the heck does this even say? He's like, that's 5 choices, John. I see at least like 9 on there for you. It looked like that was after the board was filled out. There were arrows and stuff.
Yeah, need to be a little more organized in our,
a little more organized.
graphics.
Next time we'll bring out the yarn and the Polaroid pictures and tide.
I do like the magnetic cards, and then writing one paddle per card, and then we can slap it on there and then move
it up and down. There we go. And then like the pool of runner-ups down below.
Exactly. Yep.
Good stuff.
All right.
That should do it for this week. Eddie?
John, good luck in Texas.
Yes, sir.
Bring back, I don't know, whatever they're giving out.
Okay.
A medal?
Barbecue.
I do like Texas barbecue.
Yes, it is good. All right, good, sir.
Have a good trip. See ya.